The Supreme Court recently put a stay order on the proposed regulatory changes in UGC's regulations around caste-based discrimination. This happened after a spate of protests by largely upper caste groups or groups representing the interests of the savarnas, as they're called, took place across the country. All of this happened within a very short span of time. Since the passing of the law and the stay order by Supreme Court, all the protests happening, this was almost magical. In a way, this looked too theatrical and almost too unbelievable to even happen, that things could happen so quickly in our country where it takes decades for an innocent person to even get a fair trial. Nonetheless, let's actually look at the regulatory changes that were proposed and what this protest and the subsequent stay order by Supreme Court really mean for the people of the country. So the proposed changes were nothing but just a clear definition of what caste-based discrimination really means. It defined that caste-based discrimination would be meaning discrimination against scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and the OBCs. So the genuinely oppressed caste, which we know from everyday experience everywhere around us, from urban centers to remote villages, that goes on every day in and day out. People like Rohit Vemula, who have committed suicide because of caste-based discrimination. His mother actually was one of the petitioners of this case, which goes back to 2012 or earlier. But the upper caste groups saw this completely differently. They saw that SCs, STs, or OBCs who are going to be oppressed according to this definition, who can be oppressed, then what about the reverse oppression? What about the reverse case? So meaning that these groups oppressing the upper caste people. I'm not saying that it can never happen, but the point is it's just the frequency of it or the number of cases of that will be so few. So it's almost laughable that this will even be brought up. We know that it's always from a position of higher authority that oppression flows towards a position of lower authority. So in by that same logic, then we should not be having laws specifically safeguarding interests of women, because there might also be cases where women do some wrongdoings against men. So this is a horrendous logic. This was done just, the opposition was simply from a fear of losing the privilege. They just wanted to continue being in that position where they could keep oppressing the lower caste with impunity. But it's also interesting to note that this entire episode also exposed an internal contradiction within BJP itself, because they want to woo the masses, the lower castes mostly, but in order to get their votes, they ended up antagonizing the most influential section of the population, which is basically the savarnas or the upper caste, which also forms their stronghold.